Hello, my name is Bob
Yes.
Martens, and next to me is my co-author Tomo. We are going to present the paper, The Evolution of CAADRIA Conferences. And first of all, we would like to give you a short insight on our collaboration, which has been long and lasting. We've been working together on the repository Cumin CAD, and that means that it's not just a thing which is happening once in a while, but this is, so to say, creating a connection over and over. I would like to ask you, Tomo, what is actually a bibliometric approach? What does that refer to?
Okay, I would also like to say hello to everybody. It's strange to be online and not to see people in person, but let's give it a go. So as we started to work on the paper, we wanted to try to find the right perspective, and bibliometric approach was one of them to really demonstrate what is the relevance of the conference. As we know, one of the most important inputs to the research and cooperation is to exchange ideas. This is one important aspect. And the other aspect is how valuable the research output actually is. And this is measured through bibliometrics. And bibliometrics always has to do something with references and how people use the works that were published in the past. And as we speak about the conferences, we try to find a way to measure the impact of conferences as a whole and of individual authors, tracks, and so on within specific set of conferences. In our case, the CAADRIA conferences. And an important impact to this sharing of knowledge represents an open access. And maybe, Bob, if you would share a word or two about open access, because we know in practice we have many different notions what open access actually is.
Yeah, right. Well, open access is actually not a novel term. It has been around for quite some time. And the repository you see in the background here is a very good example where some years ago the sibling associations decided to make all the papers publicly available. There is no business model in the sense that CAADRIA or CAADRIA wants to make money with it. The best reward is attention, and in order to get attention, your materials need to be available without any payment. It means, so to say, if we are talking about CAADRIA, which is celebrating this year the 25th anniversary, one can say that there has been a very, very steady output. In the first years, not as many as nowadays, but still very soon the border of 2,000 conference papers will be reached, and in this regard, I will now quickly switch to the paper in the background. Here is the graph, which is showing, so to say, this steady output.
Okay, maybe Bob, you have a long standing experience on organization of conferences, not only as an author, but also as an organizer. What does it really take to make a good conference in terms of programming?
Yeah, it's a very interesting question. First of all, a conference team will start to define the conference topics. so that the people who are going to submit their abstracts can characterize the abstract. On the other hand, in the meanwhile, organizers are attracting reviewers, and also they will have to identify their areas of expertise. Then it comes to the review assignments, and the idea is that, so to say, there's a good match between the submission and the reviewer. Some abstracts will make it to a full paper, others will not. Papers will have to be revised at a certain point. The quality control is completed. And then another hard task is coming for the organizing committee, that is grouping these papers into meaningful sessions, and it will all be depicted in proceedings. And what we did in the framework of this paper, we were collecting these topics as well, because it would allow to see how the field is progressing. From my side, I would ask you, Tomo, you have also been in touch with many conferences. Can you say that there is something like a tangible, long-lasting result of a conference?
Of course, in the past, we used to carry one bag and put the book that is called Proceedings in that bag, and we happily went home. So nowadays, this is going into digital transformation, including due to recent situation. It also transmitted the way we present the results. So the only tangible results that are measurable are the outputs that authors provide, first in writing, then in presentation. And we very much look forward to measure that as we go throughout the years.
Right. Practically spoken, what were in this study the steps which were taking? The data was gathered from the repository, the CUMINCAT repository, and what happened afterwards, Tomo?
So, as you can read more in the paper, and if you ever did any type of analysis, you know that clearing out the data is essential to ensure that we have really something that is relevant. So we must take care about the descriptors. We need to establish canonical forms of names and everything that is being used also for the descriptors in terms of keywords, because we have different variations sometimes due to English and American, due to US or UK English and all other variations. And of course, it is important that we also take into account everything that relates to the measurements of the actual use of digital content. And in recent years, we have many webometrics solutions, and we have used one from the Google. Maybe, Bob, if you can shed some light on the outcome of automated extraction of content, and how does it look like?
Yeah, right. If you would collect the terms, the most frequent terms from a repository like CUMINCAT, then you can see this in the first table. It needs definitely cleaning. I would claim that hardly any of the so to say the most frequent terms is very useful. Design is too general. D is a stopper. Digital, architectural, that does not make sense. So and even beyond the cleaning, one could consider not to work with singular terms, but with so-called n-grams. A very well-known engram is, for example, building information model. It is a trigram because it's consisting of 3 terms. However, building information would be a bigram, information modeling also, but together with building information modeling, it's delivering far more useful information. Now, if we are coming back to the metrics of a conference, how would you define these, Tomo? Are there several levels?
Yes, basically, we can look at authors and how they appear on different papers. And then we can look at the content. So on an article level, and what is the content of these articles. And on a broader level, we have series. So we have 3 main levels: author, article, and series. And what we wanted to do is to establish quantitative and qualitative metrics. For example, for author, if we speak about the quantity, we are interested how many authors participated at specific conference, what is the frequency of most productive authors in a specific conference, and so on. And as we are speaking about authors, maybe Bob, if you quickly present who is the most productive author over the years of conferences.
Right. It is really the case that the time is growing, and after this question we will have to terminate. But the winner is John Giro. Very, very productive. We made a distinction between the role of first author, 18 times, 4 times single author, but also not always the first author. Overall, a large production. So these authors do have the largest number of conference papers within the series of CAADRIA. We would have loved to say more about this, but I would give Tomo the chance to speak the last word in this presentation.
Maybe a couple of interesting findings as we are exploring what was actually produced throughout the years and how people describe their use, their actual output. What is interesting is that they mostly describe their output with 2 grounds, in simple words that they use 2 keywords to describe what they are talking about in their papers. And what is really interesting in that is that these keywords are actually quite well spread throughout the years, and you can get quite interesting insight into development of hot topics throughout the years. And we were trying to find a way to visualize how different topics are evolving and how they relate to each other. And maybe Bob, if you say a little bit more on the content from the point of view of frequency of papers and how they evolve over the years.
I would love to do so, Tomo, but we are running out of time. So I would propose to stop at this moment, take a look at the paper, and we hope to meet you in the future in a physical setting. We wish you all the best and look forward to see you. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.